Hunters are the undisputed kings of the low-level bracket due to their relatively strong damage and mobility. In Season of Discovery, they get really strong damage runes, so Hunter will undoubtedly remain on the throne in Phase 1. Luckily, Hunters received preemptive nerfs already, so hopefully people excited about the class, they won't be too overplayed. If you follow my advice, the nerfs won't really affect you anyway. After deep diving into the class meta, I realized each specialization actually has its place, so stay to the end if you want the details. Let's jump in and understand what will make Hunters so strong in Phase 1. So let's kick off with Marksman Hunter. Marksman gets Primary Shot, a hard-hitting instant ability with a 6-second cooldown. You need the Serpent Sting on the target to do strong damage, but if you have Scorpion Sting on the target instead, you will disarm any melee, which will have a 1-minute cooldown. You can get Lone Wolf for a 15% increased damage, but no pet. Then Sniper Training to match it for a 10% increased crit. Alternatively, I recommend Master Marksman, 5% raw crit, 25% sting cost reduction. You will be running out of mana quickly, primary shots. Match that with Kill Command, a damage cooldown for your pet on a short cooldown, 1 minute. Something that no other class has. Then you get Aim Shot, which is a big deal in Marksman. It's going to be a little bit hard to get off, but hits really hard. Ulti Shot for that burst AoE. Get Wing Clip and Concussive Shot for those. And Freezing Trap, you can probably not get Combat Trap. You need to get this off preemptively or get out of combat. And then Aspect of the Cheetah, which is one of the big reasons why Hunters are so strong. Adding much needed mobility, which other classes just don't have much of. People don't have mounts, so they're one of the fastest running around. In terms of talents, Improved Concussive Shot offers a stun on a 20% proc chance, 5% crit, get with Lethal Shot in Tier 2, and then you get Aim Shot, of course, and Hawkeye as well, adding much needed range. Your abilities, without that, you feel like really struggling hitting people at max range, getting close enough to them. So pros and cons of the Marksman spec. Marksman was already the king of these low-level brackets because their damage abilities, they start out really strong, don't scale so well later on. We'll see how that turns out. And of course, because of their mobility with the Aspect of the Cheetah, as mentioned. Nobody else really has that kind of mobility except for Shamans with their Ghost Wolf. Yeah, their runes are really strong too. A lot of damage in them. So yeah, they'll definitely stay God level mode S tier. Primary Shot would be a huge deal for Hunters, being able to do a lot more bursty damage on the move, plus being able to disarm if you have a Scorpion Sting on. My recommendation is not to go Lone Wolf and Sniper Training, as a lot of people are quite excited about, because it does require you to just sit still, and that's really not how PvP runs down. So I recommend getting Master Marksmen for 5% crit, which is pretty big, as well as mana cost reduction on all their shots, as well as Kill Command. I think will be a lot more consistent damage, a lot more fun to play, unless you just really like camping out the Night Elf, hiding in the bushes, waiting for people. Most people won't have that kind of patience. So every hunter needs to learn to turn their Aspect of the Cheetah on and off at the right time to avoid getting dazed if a projectile or somebody's close to you, and then turn it on if you can foresee that you won't be hit anytime soon. That's a critical skill to master. What you get with Marksman is truly unparalleled range. Nobody will be able to touch you at that 41-yard range. And if you can catch people out in the open and the world, you're almost certainly going to win. They get some really strong talents. They are okay 1v1. Not so good if they get jumped in melee, but since they have tracking, they will most of the time catch people out in the open. And then they're just amazing in group scenarios. Also, don't require much healing, so that's a big plus as well. They stay top tier later on for 40 and 50 bracket, very close to the S tier. So that's something to look forward to as well. In terms of cons, they're missing a few key abilities, Feign plus Trap, which, as mentioned, makes it a lot harder to get away from melee if they get catch on you. They're missing Flare and Viper Sting, which is a big deal. They can be a bit clunky to play, so easy to get going, but Dead Zone can really screw you over. Keep that in mind. And then they also don't have any interrupt, apart from a lucky concussive proc. One semi-hard counter of the Marksman Hunter is going to be Warlocks and Priests, as the Warlocks will be incredibly tanky, and the Priests can basically just heal. Hunter can't do much about that. Then they can slowly kill them with their dots. So until Hunter gets Viper Sting, will really struggle to have an answer to this. But yeah, Marksman, absolutely in a S tier specialization. It's going to be really good. The damage is just going to be very, very strong, and it's going to be hard for anyone else to keep up. And people will struggle to close the gap to them. Their speed and their slows out in the open world, they'll have a really good time. Moving on to Beastmaster. Beastmaster gets the Beast Mastery Rune, 30% health and damage for their pet and focus regen. Get 20% damage to the pet, 15% additional health, 30% armor, 30% run speed, so all in all just ridiculous buffs to the pet. They'll still use the Master Marksman and Kill Command rune. Beyond that, it stays the same. The main pro for Beastmaster Hunter is pet will just basically kill people for you most of the time. Very good for solo play as well. So you'll have that in the back of your pocket, and stronger in 1v1 scenarios. You don't need to worry so much about being stuck in melee, because the pet will just kill them for you. And they'll struggle to kill the pet, and if they try to, you can just unload on them from the range. They are less mana intensive, so you can just keep going with the pet if you can keep it up. You can go pathfinding, which can be very good for getting around fast. And Beast Mastery will be basically God mode from level 40s until level 60. Beyond that, they are a weak hunter in terms of own damage capabilities beyond the pet. No aim shot, no chimera shot, no crit talents. So if the pet dies, they do struggle. They can summon it quite fast, but it's a pain point, because 2-3 people going hard on the pet will kill it, and it can be hard to do anything about that. Master is more of a solo spec for sure. I place Beastmaster Hunter in the A tier. First and foremost, it's a hunter. It does better in 1v1 scenarios, but is significantly worse in large group scenarios. But they definitely belong up there. Moving on to survival. Here you get, in the talent, you get improved wing clip or entrapment to either immobilize the target for solo-oriented play, or immobilize basically everybody who goes into your trap. Deterrence is a strong melee cooldown, so that kind of like solves that pain point of being stuck in melee. Survivalist is just health, really strong. And if you were playing with the group, you could go Aspect of the Line for 10% increased stat, so then you have a ridiculous amount of health. Beyond that, yeah, you still keep Chimera Shot and Kill Command Rune. I'm not going to cover Melee Hunter. This is Rex Armeen. Not going to be a thing. But yeah, Survival Hunters, pros, being a hunter, they're good. Immobilize and Deterrence can really help a lot in 1v1. You could even go into Improved Raptor Strike for big chance to crit your Raptor Strike. Alternatively, Entrapment offers crazy value for group combat in the right situations. There's Choke Point being thought about. But actually having no aim shot is a bit of a blessing in disguise. It's much easier for Survival Hunter to maneuver, not having to get off aim shots. That being said, they do have less range, so it's also much harder for them to pull something off like that, and will make them a lot more susceptible to the dead zone and struggle to finish off people. Later on, it could become really good in small groups, with the Wyvern Sting becoming viable at level 40. Your CC on a short cooldown, instant, long range, which can now be used in combat. But yeah, in terms of cons beyond the range, they also suffer from less damage because of lack of aim shot and crit talents, meaning they have less of an execute level burst combo. I play Survival Hunter in the B tier, not quite as bursty as Marksman and missing the range, also not quite as strong as Beastmaster in 1v1. They are just a notch down, but they could be even higher than this just because they're a hunter. So that was my hunter deep dive. If you like these deep dive videos, please consider liking the video. It helps me out a lot. And hit subscribe if you want to stay up to date on my next class deep dives. You can check out my rogue deep dive right here.